Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
This is the Zorawar, India's very own light tank. Built for a very specific requirement, to defend our forces and attack when necessary in high-altitude areas. Conceived of in the post-Galwan context and in direct response to the emergence of the Chinese Type 15 light tank, the Zorawar is meant to plug holes in India's armoured defences. At the moment, India uses heavy tanks, the T-90 and T-72, way up in the Ladakh heights. These are far too heavy and unwieldy for operations in the rarefied atmosphere. And so, Zorawar was designed and developed in 21 months straight. Weighing in at 25 tons, close to half the weight of the older tanks, the Zorawar can be easily airlifted and is built with the future in mind. Upgradability. Designed to operate with drones, it'll also feature an active protection system, a system which intercepts incoming missiles and rockets to protect the tank. But these upgrades will come later. At the moment, the army appears committed to the tank, which is being trialled not just in high altitude areas, but also the desert. The Zorawar weighs 25 tons. It has a power-to-weight ratio of 30 horsepower per ton. That's key in the mountains. It has a 1,000 horsepower engine. It's amphibious. It can ford rivers and lakes. It can fire missiles, has a 105mm main gun, a 12.7mm remote-controlled weapon station, and a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. In trials in September last year at the Mahajan firing range near Bikaner, the Zorawar hit its targets with pinpoint accuracy, using its Belgian-designed gun, proving its lethality. Zorawar's development is a triumph of collaboration and indigenization. Led by the Defence Research and Development Organisation and Larsen & Toubro, with contributions from micro, small and medium enterprises, the tank boasts over 70% indigenous content. From its hull to advanced systems, Indian industries have risen to the challenge, reducing reliance on foreign technology. Unlike the Arjun main battle tank, which faced delays and cost overruns because of an overemphasis on full indigenization, the Zorawar takes a pragmatic approach, incorporating foreign components like the Cummins engine and the Cockerell gun turret while pushing for local manufacturing. The army may eventually end up operating 700 Zorawar tanks.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome. You're watching another episode of Faultlines. I'm Gauri Dwivedi, and this week I get you what's really brewing in terms of what could be the biggest face-off between the US and Venezuela in decades. Are the two headed for a military standoff, and is there more to it than just drug trafficking? We tell you on that. Plus, details we get you of why is it that Pakistan is bombing its own citizens. But first up, the first big story that we are tracking on the show. All right, viewers, the US-Venezuela showdown is escalating fast. In fact, it's said that drug boats are being blown up and you have bounties that are soaring. Oil exports have literally cut in half. And Venezuela warns of a republic in arms. While Washington, in fact, is doubling down on military patrols. And as it continues to do the patrolling around the entire region, there are also naval drills in the Caribbean that it is now doubling down on. What's really fueling this crisis? Is it drugs? Is it oil? Is it something much bigger than that? Let's break that down for you, because this is now turning out to be the biggest fault line that's happening and cutting across the entire region. Let's put out some of those details here for you as to what really is driving that escalation. First and foremost, well, there are oil exports that have actually reduced under the new license that has come out. Secondly, you have Maduro, which is the Venezuelan president, actually warns of a republic in arms. He's trying to galvanize more public sentiment in terms of why he thinks this could really be that particular inflection point when he can galvanize Venezuelans away from some of the crisis that is really happening at heart. Next up, Trump has ordered, well, there are multiple strikes that have actually happened on the drug boats, and that's really the bone of the contention, viewers. Why is it that we're talking about the US-Venezuela fault line? It started with Donald Trump first striking a boat and then going ahead and striking another one, all of which is not legal as far as the international law is concerned, not known to follow protocol. You have Donald Trump going ahead and doing that, which is why you have the entire area flaring up into a much bigger crisis. Next up, Colombia has in fact sought criminal probe into Trump and why this actually has snowballed into a bigger issue, because let's not forget that it's actually Colombia which is the largest drug pipeline in terms of US and not Venezuela. I'm going to come to that in just a bit and tell you why this could be much more than just about drugs. But first and foremost, tell you what exactly is it that's really leading to the escalation. Next up, Venezuela has proposed talks. US has rejected that offer because remember, Maduro's government has not been legitimized or legally accepted by the US, and Donald Trump feels and his administration feels that they have an upper hand and there is no reason for them to settle for talks, try and extract the best possible deal they can in terms of how escalatory matrix is moving on from here on. Next up, US has actually doubled the bounty on Maduro to $50 million. It's actually for anybody who's giving information for Maduro that US has increased the bounty. It's now at $50 million. Already a lot of his assets have been seized, upwards of $500–600 million of the kind of assets of Maduro that have been seized by America because it's trying to further put pressure on Venezuela. Next, and most importantly, it's not like there's not been a response from Venezuela. They've responded to it because remember, these boats actually led to America going till the edge of its naval borders to patrol, and that is where things actually escalated, where F-16s and Sukhoi 30 jets were showcased by Venezuela. And lastly, the Caribbean naval drills that have come to light amidst these rising tensions have been the big bone of contention. Now let's get you more details as far as what really is happening. As I said, why really did this become a major flashpoint? Why is it that drug crackdown is suddenly now at the cornerstone of Donald Trump's administration and the machinery focused solely on Venezuela? This report has all the details for you.
3 vessels destroyed, at least 17 dead in 2 weeks. US forces say these were cartel-linked drug boats leaving Venezuela. Maduro is demanding evidence. Washington has produced none so far, and critics say it looks more like a message.
To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have no choice. Can't let it happen. They're destroying.
Trump defends the strikes. His administration has labeled Venezuelan gangs foreign terror groups. The Pentagon is acting on a secret directive allowing force against cartels. Legal? Questionable. Effective? Debatable.
Dicen que los misiles en el Caribe eran para detener las drogas. Mentira, dicha aquí, en este mismo sitio. En el año 2023 y 2024 fueron los años donde más cocaína se incautó y más de 700 capos del narcotráfico fueron extraditados a Estados Unidos y Europa.
Colombia's President Petro says it's overreach. He's called for criminal charges against Trump at the UN, saying the victims were not traffickers but impoverished civilians. Bombing poverty, he called it. At the same time, Chevron's oil exports from Venezuela have been cut in half under new US rules. Venezuela is still producing, but less is reaching American shores. The profits have been locked out of Maduro's reach.
No es una tensión, es una agresión en toda la línea. Es una agresión judicial cuando nos criminalizan. Es una agresión política con sus declaraciones amenazantes diarias. Es una agresión diplomática y es una agresión en camino de carácter militar. Y Venezuela está facultada por las leyes internacionales para hacerle frente.
Maduro says the US is choking Venezuela economically and escalating militarily. His letter to the White House was ignored. Now, he's preparing new constitutional powers to defend national sovereignty. Venezuela is showing its fleet. US warships are already patrolling the Caribbean. So is this a new war on drugs or the latest energy conflict dressed in counter-narcotics? Either way, the US has re-engaged and Venezuela just became a front again. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
Well, viewers, the entire military standoff is on the premise that this build-up is intended to stop drug smuggling by cartels. But most cocaine in Latin America is actually produced in Colombia, Peru and Bolivia, and not so much in Venezuela. In fact, as per US data, almost 3/4 of cocaine shipments to the US come through the Pacific, which Venezuela does not border. And just a quarter actually come through the Caribbean, where Venezuela is. Add to it the fact that blowing up boats is completely against international law, which makes one ask, is this about drug trafficking or is this actually about regime change? The US has not recognized the last two Maduro governments and has a 50 million bounty for anyone with providing any information leading to Maduro's arrest. This clearly is far from over. If anything, both sides have all the incentive to escalate the military tension further up. For Maduro, this gives him an opportunity to galvanize Venezuelans struggling with meeting their day-to-day ends. For Donald Trump and his administration, this gives them the perfect opportunity and the window to try and have major sway as far as Venezuela is concerned. The story is far from over. The fault line is deep. We're going to get you all the details as and when action begins. All right, on that note, viewers, I'm going to slip into a very short break, come back on the other side and talk more about the other fault line that we are decoding on the show, which is about Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and why Pakistan is bombing its own civilians. Stay with us, we get you those details.
When we say we're standing on a piece of history, I really mean it. We're standing on the Indian Navy's newest warship. She's called INS Udaygiri. And the reason why this is a piece of history is because for the first time, the Indian Navy isn't just inducting.
Delhi बसंतपुर जाना वो पॉसिबल नहीं था.
तो आप ही इस इंस्टीट्यूट के भाग रहे
If Lubasi was your son, you'd do anything to stop his suffering. He's in agony because he has an eye infection called trachoma. It's often spread by flies, like these. If Lubasi was your son, you'd take him to the doctor. But his parents can't afford to get him the care he so desperately needs. You can. When you give £2 a month to Sightsavers, you can help save more children from agony like this and spare their parents the pain of watching their children suffer. Every month, you'll help our eye doctors get to some of the world's poorest and most remote villages. It's so simple to treat trachoma, but we urgently need your support to do it. So please call 0800 038 4920, text Site10 to 82727, or go to sightsavers.tv to give £2 a month to Sightsavers right now.
You can count on Stayshore, the UK's favourite travel insurance provider. We specialise in cover for over 50s with pre-existing medical conditions. And there's no age limit. Whether you're planning an epic, once-in-a-lifetime adventure or revisiting your favourite holiday spot one more time, we offer cover for single or multiple trips throughout the year. Stayshore Travel Insurance, the UK's favourite. Get your quote online or give us a call today. Sale now on.
If you have cancer, it might affect your finances, but Macmillan Support is just a free call away.
Can I claim any benefits?
Whether you need benefits advice,
what if I can't afford my bills?
Struggling with bills,
how am I going to support my family?
Money worries,
what happens now?
Or just need someone to talk to. Whatever you need to ask about money, benefits and cancer, we're here 7 days a week. Call us free now on 0808 239 1000.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Well, viewers, the other fault line we are decoding on today is one in Pakistan. Pakistan's rulers are dropping bombs from Chinese jets. 30 people are dead, many civilians crushed in terror's crossfire. And while Islamabad is busy signing these defense pacts, its own people are now drowning in disaster. What really happened? Is there a power play that is veiled in this entire issue, in this entire instance? We get you those details in this report.
In the dead of the night, around 2 a.m. to be precise, the sky over Khyber Pakhtunkhwa tore open once again. Chinese-made JF-17 fighter jets, operated by Pakistan, dropped 8 deadly LS-6 precision bombs on a village in the Tira Valley. Islamabad claims it was targeting a bomb factory run by the Tehreek-e-Taliban. But the bodies pulled from the rubble, 30 in total. Well, they were civilians, women, children, entire families. Locals say mosques and homes were flattened. The Pakistani Air Force says it had intelligence. But one question lingers. For over a decade, China has embedded itself in Pakistan economically, militarily, even geographically. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, now cuts through Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the very area bombed this week. But when Chinese workers are attacked, like in Shangla last year or Dasu in 2021, the state doesn't hesitate. armored convoys, helicopters, you name it. And that's called immediate military response. But when Pakistanis drown, it's an entirely different playbook, and the silence is deafening. Flash floods have displaced over 2 million, destroyed crops, and claimed thousands of lives. When Islamabad signs billion-dollar defense pacts in Riyadh, back home, the state lets its own citizens drown, burn, and bleed. Real estate mafias, backed by military elites, built on floodplains. Forests are burned to fund timber cartels. And the national priority? Still bombs, not women. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
Viewers, made in China bombs dropped in Pakistan from made in China jets by Pakistan. More than 24 innocents, including women and children, just dead in silence. And still no rescue, no accountability. You see, Pakistan's real battleground is not KPK, not Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It is sovereignty itself. And the biggest casualties, well, are the innocent Pakistani civilians. Let's get you now details of exactly what was used, the weaponry that was used to bomb its own civilians. What exactly did Pakistan use? First and foremost, JF-17 fighter jet that was used, and this has details of what exactly were the specs as far as the weaponry that was used. The JF-17 fighter jet has a maximum speed of 1200 miles per hour. It flies at 50,000 feet. It in fact has 7 hard points and Chinese missiles, and upgraded for Beijing's payloads, and in terms of a joint badge and single command. So why am I telling you about all these points? Because this is military grade fighter jets being used by Pakistan to bomb its own people. That is why these details are important. Look at the kind of weaponry that was used to bomb people, which included women and children. Now let's get you details of the glide bomb that was actually used, the LS-6 glide bomb, and the kind of precision it actually comes out with. That it's laser guided, 15 meter is the accuracy. Again, the kind of ammunition that you reserve for foreign adversaries, for adversaries of the state, not for your own people. Next, in terms of, it turns dumb bombs into smart. It glides 60 kilometers to strike, and some of the other details include folds wings mid-air for range, and lastly, it guides by China's Peru GPS. Of course, all of it is Chinese weaponry. That is why it is important for you to know this was Chinese weaponry used by Pakistan to bomb its own people, and the kind that was used tells you that military grade equipment was used for its own people. Let's in fact now get you details and more perspective as far as why this is important with General Raj Shukla, who's joining me on the broadcast on Faultlines to talk more about why this particular instance is probably the biggest fault line in terms of Pakistan. General Shukla, thanks much for speaking to me. What do you make of Pakistan bombing its own citizens?
Challenges in KPK, Baluchistan, these cross-border linkages from Afghanistan, they are getting ahead of the Pakistani state. And when the challenges multiply and they get ahead, you will see this. The use of the force will be oppressive. It will be excessive. When you are in control, the response with the use of force will be calibrated and balanced. So in the instant case, look what happens. 12 Pakistani soldiers are ambushed in South Waziristan, I think a day earlier, so the state has to respond. You get some information that there are some terrorists in some hideouts. They turn out to be homes. You target them. You miss the target, poor intelligence. You hit a bomb-making factory that explodes, and 30 innocent people, including women and children. A brutal, heinous massacre occurs. And so this is the signs of the state getting out of control. दूसरी बात आप देखिए, I mean, I was startled You use your frontline aircraft, J-17s and LS-6 bombs to do this kind of targeting. I've commanded a division in Baramulla. The Indian Army has spent so many years in the valley. We have never gone beyond arms at the most rocket launchers. One isolated instance in Mizoram in the 1960s, use of air, I mean, leave alone fixed wing, we have not used rotary wing. उसका भी इस्तेमाल सिर्फ casualty evacuation वगैरह के लिए होता है या surveillance के लिए. So this whole, leveraging of force is excessive, oppressive. When you hit women and children, it is cowardly, it is dastardly.
Yes, indeed, which is why those weaponry needed to be pointed out in detail. General Shukla, then, which brings me to ask you, the security risk that lies ahead for India in this entire KPK region.
From the security lens, I am very clear that Pakistan has not given up its pursuit of terror. In fact, they are exporting it to our eastern flank. Agar aap Bangladesh mein dekhein, the DGISI has traveled 2-3 times. The forces of Islamism are emerging. DGISPR both have said that the next terror attacks will be from the east. You have the Islam Chhatra Shibir winning the varsity polls in Dhaka. So a new national security reality to include very, potent terror challenges emerging from the east. So हमको west or east, दोनों से terror का खतरा है. We really have to step up our game, and a lot of it is happening, but we have to be vigilant. I mean, I can tell you that the whole border along our northeast must be fenced now, and we must earmark battalions to take care of that. नहीं तो LC वाली जो समस्या है वहां भी हो जाएगी. So Pakistan is playing this, अब खुद तो तबाह हो रहे हैं, and they are also getting destruction and into the neighborhood. We have to be very vigilant. Another actor which we must really watch is Turkey. It has these, ambitions of neo-caliphatism. Erdogan is on record to say that we will take our influence beyond Europe. And they are actively aiding and abetting Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal in military terms. So we have to be really vigilant.
What about the entire Pakistan-Afghanistan border? With the volatility in KPK, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it is going to spill over to the Pakistan-Afghanistan border as well. Your thoughts?
See, for the moment, because of the adversariality between the Taliban government and Pakistan, they will keep each other in check. So I think that's in our interest. But were in the future they come together for some reason, then terror will emerge as even a greater challenge. So in my view, you cannot in the next 3-4 years rule out 9/11 in India. We have to be continuously vigilant. But so far, as I observe the way things are moving, and the Afghan Taliban, they are in conflict with Pakistan Taliban, the Pakistani Taliban. Pakistan has this whole problem of the Pakistani Taliban taking refuge in Afghanistan. So that whole bit is keeping terror in check or keeping Pakistan confined to its western borders. But this basic, business of terror being a tool in their statecraft, वो उनके ज़हन से नहीं गया है. So after Dur, we have to be even more prepared in terms of our responses to acts of terror. So, I mean, that is my take on it.
All right. General Shukla, we leave it there. Thanks much for speaking to me on Faultlines. Well, viewers, the other story that we are telling you on Faultlines this week, well, drones seem to be the new normal in terms of national security concerns. And that's exactly what came to light in Denmark as well, when a video was released by the Danish news agency claiming to show a drone flying over one of the airports in Denmark overnight on Wednesday into Thursday. In fact, there were 3 other airports in Denmark which were also impacted. Latest set of unexplained drone activity in the entire region, which raises deep concerns with regards to Northern Europe. And many eyes are going and many fingers are pointing towards alleged Russian involvement with regard to this drone involvement and this drone activity, and also talking about how Russians have mastered the entire drone attack doctrine. to really try and cause havoc in terms of its neighboring countries. All right, viewers, with that, we wrap things up on this edition of Fault Lines. That's all I have. We come back next week with yet another fault line, yet another conflict, yet another issue that we will be decoding for you, telling you all the different layers as to why that needs to be decoded in greater detail. Thanks so much for watching this.
This is the Zorawar, India's very own light tank. Built for a very specific requirement, to defend our forces and attack when necessary in high altitude areas. Conceived of in the post-Galwan context and in direct response to the emergence of the Chinese Type 15 light tank, the Zorawar is meant to plug holes in India's armoured defences. At the moment, India uses heavy tanks, the T-90 and T-72, way up in the Ladakh heights. These are far too heavy and unwieldy for operations in the rarefied atmosphere. And so, Zorawar was designed and developed in 21 months straight. Weighing in at 25 tons, close to half the weight of the older tanks, the Zorawar can be easily airlifted and is built with the future in mind. Upgradability. Designed to operate with drones, it'll also feature an active protection system, a system which intercepts incoming missiles and rockets to protect the tank. But these upgrades will come later. At the moment, the army appears committed to the tank, which is being trialled not just in high altitude areas, but also the desert. The Zorawar weighs
1.5 crore households actually affected and benefited by it. 10,000 rupees directly credited into the account of the women folks over there. On the other hand, the Congress also is playing its own cards, and we have Priyanka Gandhi here in Patna today. She's also traveling to Motihari today, and basically the function which was held at Sadakat Ashram was a women outreach program where Priyanka Gandhi was interacting with women voters, and it is expected that that Congress today would also be doling out many schemes and many promises to the women voters of Bihar.
Prabhakar, thanks for joining us there. We're going to be slipping to a short break. We'll return with the top international headlines and also a glimpse of the top controversies in the Asia Cup 2025. Stay tuned.
This is the Zorawar, India's very own light tank. Built for a very specific requirement, to defend our forces and attack when necessary in high altitude areas. Conceived of in the post-Galwan context and in direct response to the emergence of the Chinese Type 15 light tank, the Zorawar is meant to plug holes in India's armoured defences. At the moment, India uses heavy tanks, the T-90 and T-72, way up in the Ladakh heights. These are far too heavy and unwieldy for operations in the rarefied atmosphere. And so, Zorawar was designed and developed in 21 months straight. Weighing in at 25 tons, close to half the weight of the older tanks, the Zorawar can be easily airlifted and is built with the future in mind. Upgradability. Designed to operate with drones, it'll also feature an active protection system, a system which intercepts incoming missiles and rockets to protect the tank. But these upgrades will come later. At the moment, the army appears committed to the tank, which is being trialled not just in high altitude areas, but also the desert. The Zorawar weighs 25 tons. It has a power-to-weight ratio of 30 horsepower per ton. That's key in the mountains. It has a 1,000 horsepower engine. It's amphibious. It can ford rivers and lakes. It can fire missiles, has a 105mm main gun, a 12.7mm remote-controlled weapon station, and a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. In trials in September last year at the Mahajan firing range near Bikaner, the Zorawar hit its targets with pinpoint accuracy using its Belgian-designed gun, proving its lethality. Zorawar's development is a triumph of collaboration and indigenization. Led by the Defense Research and Development Organization and Larsen & Toubro, with contributions from micro, small and medium enterprises, the tank boasts over 70% indigenous content. From its hull to advanced systems, Indian industries have risen to the challenge, reducing reliance on foreign technology. Unlike the Arjun main battle tank, which faced delays and cost overruns because of an overemphasis on full indigenization, the Zorawar takes a pragmatic approach, incorporating foreign components like the Cummins engine and the Cockerell gun turret while pushing for local manufacturing. The army may eventually end up operating 700 Zorawar tanks.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power. What is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Faultlines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World. Your new home for global news is here.
Captain Chakravarti, not one but 2 warships. That's amazing. You know, Vishnu and I through our careers, have been to many commissionings. Vishnu a few more than me because he's slightly older than me.
He wants to rub that in. But that's just a side dig. Carry on with the...
Yeah, but 2 ships is incredible. I mean, that's, tell us why that is so significant. You know, the Indian Navy with its huge expanding responsibilities is hungry for more ships. So getting 2 ships at the same time is a bonus, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, of course. Like you said it yourself, the responsibilities are increasing. Indian Ocean is where the action is happening. Yeah. And Indian Ocean is going to be the future playground for all the, not just the navies, the nations around the world. And Indian Navy, as the preferred security partner, is very active in this area. Given the responsibility and the large area that is, the number of assets is required. And that's the reason we are getting these warships. They're not just numbers, it's not just the quantity, it's the quality of these warships also, because they have high speed and they have got very large endurance and they can stay out at sea for long times. The frigates are very versatile ships to be. And so these 2 warships are going to add a punch, not just to the Eastern Naval Command, in particular, of course, Eastern Naval Command, but to the Indian Navy in general.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years.
Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict.
News just coming in, Bollywood actor Shilpa Shetty and husband Raj Kundra are facing scrutiny in a 60 crore rupee fraud probe involving their defunct teleshopping firm Best Deal TV. Mumbai Police's Economic Offences Wing, the AOW, has traced a 15 crore rupee transfer from Raj Kundra to Shetty's company, suspecting fund diversion beyond ad fee. Shetty's lawyer has slammed the reports as quote-unquote fake and mischievous, denying any receipt of funds. Paras Dama now joins me live. Paras, take us through this transfer that I was just talking about. Why is this going to put the couple into the dock further from where they already are in terms of this controversy?
Rightly said, this is a very important matter which is being investigated by the Enforcement Economic Offences Wing of Mumbai Police. In this entire matter, Raj Kundra was summoned a few days ago, and in this entire case, his statement was recorded. After that, there were one more summon which was sent to a person who was related with the company, and his statement has been also been registered in this entire matter. Now, there has been claims that the 15 crore rupees transaction was made to Shilpa Shetty, but in this entire matter, the official statement by Shilpa Shetty's lawyer has been in there, and in the statement it has been said that all the things are fake, and there were no transfer which was made by Raj Kundra to Shilpa Shetty of rupees 15 crore. So this is a matter of investigation. Right now, there were many documents which was asked by the EOW to Raj Kundra to send them and to give them the details about the financial transaction. This is a matter of investigation, and still in this entire case, EOW of Mumbai Police is investigating this matter very thoroughly.
All right, Paras, thanks for joining us there. We're now going to move away from domestic news and get you all that's making headlines across the world in our segment Worldview. And let's start with the headlines. US President Donald Trump has met Pakistan Prime Minister and Army Chief in Washington, D.C. on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. It's another Elon Musk versus Sam Altman battle, which has begun as XAI has accused OpenAI of stealing trade secrets. US President Donald Trump has announced a 100% tariff on imports of branded or patented pharmaceutical products from the 1st of next month. Our top story, US President Donald Trump met Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief Asim Munir in the Oval Office. The meeting took place at the Oval Office and in the backdrop of the US President's ceasefire claims. While the meeting was closed door, the talks were expected to cover a wide agenda, including bilateral relations, trade, regional security, and global challenges. The other big story of the hour, Khalistani terrorist Indrajit Singh Gosal has been released on bail within a week after his arrest in Canada. Right after walking out of prison, he and his close aide Gurpatwant Singh Panoon issued threats aimed at National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Elon Musk's XAI has filed a major lawsuit against Sam Altman's OpenAI in federal court, alleging a strategic campaign to steal trade secrets and poach employees with insider knowledge of the Grok AI model and Coalesce's supercomputing clusters. The lawsuit claims that OpenAI was engaged in a quote-unquote deeply troubling pattern of hiring former XAI employees to gain access to the trade secrets of its AI chatbot Grok. It further said that Altman's company is pursuing unfair advantages in the race to develop AI technology.
Don't they grow up so fast? And sometimes the big life moments like a new home and a new school can be scary. Which reminds me, I don't want my family to worry about mortgage costs if the worst should happen. That's why I'm looking into smart family life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. I could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.